So wearing her police uniform. It was a good entry. Perhaps a little bit more impulsion here in the extended trot, not quite straight on the line. Very fluent, perhaps could be a little bit more parallel and uphill.
Right, that half pass of Patrick and Dizia was really a lot bigger.
Yes.
More, floating.
But, you know, this is a much older horse and never had a trot like this mare from Patrick. And this is good because I think people shouldn't think I have to have a horse like Patrick's to win internationally. Here's a horse who has, to all intents and purposes, more normal gaits and yet can be also very successful. And she doesn't try to put in what isn't there. She enhances what she can, but she doesn't over-push the horse. So this is good riding and training. And the passage could have a little bit more push from the hind leg, but it's still in a very nice tendency. Unfortunately, the piaffe now didn't really come off. He was too anxious to get out in a nice way, saying, "Come on, Mum, let's go."
So when did they stop the Young Rider World Cup? Yeah.
When they lost the sponsorship.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's interesting, isn't it, how one movement can really tip the balance. She was on 71 trend, now 68 after that problem with the piaffe. But you know, she has some highlights in the canter too, so she can climb back up again. And the horse is just about always totally regular. Sometimes he loses the balance perhaps, but the walk is correct. And he's willing. A little bit more push again from the hind leg. So the piaffe is a little bit too slow in the hind leg. Needs to be quicker, more closed. But she showed more steps this time in a better way than the previous. But of course, if you don't show a lot of piaffe, you're not going to get a high mark for the transition. It has to be related to what came before. Slight disturbance at the start.
Yeah.
Very unlike them. But I think even with that, you can see how the horse has a nice sort of jump and spring to his changes. And could be more uphill, but the ground cover is fairly good, and the change nicely on the diagonal. And the half passes. And like Patrick, she doesn't do too much of this counter flexing. There was a horse yesterday that had, out of the 6 strides, 4 of them were in a counter.
Getting ready for it.
Yeah, in a counter flexion, only 2 in the correct flexion, and this isn't good enough, basically.
It's a bit.
And maybe you do it in training, but in the arena we want to see the finished result, not the preparation and the training exercises to arrive at the end result.
It's a bit like doing a counter with the bend completely out the other way.
All the preparation has to lead to something. So she keeps here again in the counter pirouette, a very nice jump. She doesn't compromise the stride, It's just a little bit too big. And, you know, I think this is where, to be fair on Chablis, it shows a little bit that he's getting older, so she doesn't push him quite so much, and she's happier with less, basically. He's her big friend, I think.
Oh, okay.
They have a very honest partnership.
It's nice when people build that partnership up
Yes.
over many years. Dressage requires that long-term partnership.
It does. It's many years. A partnership is many years in the making. And, you know, these big transitions from the small tour to the big tour, sometimes it takes a full season before you can just get through the Grand Prix. One lovely halt and a smiley horse and a kiss.